in beautiful California, and I was just thinking that in our culture, there's such an emphasis on this short-term gain, even at the expense of a long-term loss. And as Christians, I really think about that. These things come up time and time again. So, for example, if a man is married, he might have an affair, and maybe he thinks that that has a short-term benefit to him. But in the long term, he stands to lose everything: his wife, his marriage, his children. And so it's this idea of this instant gratification in the here and now. He might get something that seems to be positive, but in the long term, he loses so much more. And I just think that it's a really good window through which to see our lives, is that as Christians, we know that we hold out for this long-term benefit, and we sometimes will deny ourselves in our daily lives, and maybe we don't participate in the same things that everyone else does, and we're holding out our hope for heaven, and so we have our eyes on a higher prize and on a higher reward, but that often involves denying ourselves in the moment. And I think that in the world, maybe because we live in such an atheistic, kind of materialistic, naturalistic culture, it's a complete opposite, where there's such an emphasis on the here and now, as if this moment is the only moment that there is, and the whole culture of you only live once, and everyone kind of treats people as if they're disposable, and if our lives are just throwaway, you can act and do whatever you want, and the consequences don't really matter, and you should do what makes you happy right now and right here, and that's kind of like your guiding light and what you use to direct your life. And I really think that it's a dangerous way to live, and it will burn a person out. But when you truly believe that there's no life after this one, and that you came out of some slime and just evolved, that really is the only worldview that I think comes out of that, is that we just think we're going to live for the present moment, and we're going to do whatever we want, even if it's destructive in the long term. But as Christians, I think we have such sobriety and such wisdom that we can see that there are long-term hopes that we have to going to heaven, and we're accountable and responsible to our Creator. And so we see things in the big picture rather than just looking at the present moment